In a previous video, I talked about different types of potential credit card technologies that we could see in the future. One of those technologies that really stood out to me was the glass credit card. And because of that, I decided to reach out to the company who makes the glass credit card to see maybe if they would send me over some samples. It's been about a month now, I haven't heard anything back, and I don't think I'm going to be hearing back anytime soon. So I'm going to take it into my own hands and I'm going to make my own version of a glass credit card just to see if it's possible. Let's set some requirements for this card. So it has to be made out of glass, and for the second requirement is that it has to be functional. I have to be able to use this to be able to pay for something. And the third requirement is that it has to kind of look like a credit card, right? So those are the requirements. Let's see what we can do. So I have the glass version of the CompoSecure card, and it looks like there's metal on the outside, and then from the inside you just see the NFC wiring, and then from the tap to pay you see it connected to the chip. So right now I'm thinking let's go ahead and make a mold of the credit card, and then one of my credit cards that are actually active, I think we'll go ahead and try to take out the internals of the credit card so it can still function. For step 3, I think you'll be putting the glass into the mold so it looks like the credit card. Step 4, that you'll put the NFC and the chip into the glass while it's cooling down. You can't put it when it's too hot because it'll probably melt the wiring or damage the wiring. Yeah, I think that's a pretty solid plan. However, before making the actual glass credit card, let's go ahead and make a prototype. It's going to be a lot cheaper and it's, not going to burn your hands off if you mess up. So I have the credit card that I kind of want to replicate, the Chase Freedom Unlimited card. And for the mold, we have this mold putty that I got from Hobby Lobby. Should be pretty easy to do. Time to roll up the sleeves. I think that's about equal parts. That's a good yellow. Now that that's done, we're gonna wait 20 minutes for this mold to harden. So the molding putty didn't work out. I mean, what can I say? I'm not an artist, but I did get my hands on a different one. This is mold rubber. So let's see how this works. Oh, no. It's really sticky. But yeah, I guess we'll let that sit for 8 to 12 hours. This is what the bottom looks like. So it should set pretty evenly. So that'll be cool.
A few moments later.
So it's finally done. This isn't the first time because the first time I tried to do it, it ended up being quite a mess. I actually had to change out the card because I ran out of Chase Freedom Unlimited cards and I had to get the Chase Freedom Flex involved. But it actually did come out really nice. It came out really, really good. It looks like an exact imprint of the credit card. Now that that's out of the way, we have to get the internals out of this card so the glass card will be functional. And I think the best way to go about this is just to dunk it in acetone. The acetone will do all the work for us and we should be able to dissolve the card so we can extract the tap to pay. So I got my cup and another bottle of trusty acetone. Alright, so here we go. And we'll just let that sit for a while. It should be done within 30 minutes. Cover up because it stinks.
A few inches later.
Alright, so I left the card sitting for a while, but for some reason it won't disintegrate more than this. I left it in the acetone for about an hour. So I don't know if Chase cards are just that durable. I thought it was this piece, this metallic rainbow piece, keeping the card from disintegrating apart. And I tried to take it off, but it was just so difficult to take off. And even when I did take it off, some of the sections barely disintegrated too. However, the acetone did kind of work. I mean, you see all the contactless strips all around the card coming off the edges. So the contactless on the Chase Freedom Unlimited is on the outside. But it seems like we're just gonna have to use a different card.
A few minutes later.
So this is inside American Express Blue Cash Everyday. So you see it's really transparent and there's a lot of glitter actually on this card. So that's really interesting. You see the NFC wiring is all on the top, none around the card, and then it all connects back to the chip. And here's the front.
A few minutes later.
Alright, so this is about leaving the American Express Blue Cash Everyday card in for about 20 minutes. and it's pretty cool. Like, it's really bendy. Like, that's crazy. But you can basically clearly see what's inside.
12 seconds later.
So I did finally get the NFC or the contactless tap to pay from the credit card from American Express Blue Cash every day. And this is what it looks like. It's pretty cool. It's really thin though. If you just barely touch it, you're gonna bend the wires. But I don't think bending the wires makes it so it doesn't work. Let's go ahead and try it. So I have my phone, I loaded up the Square app, and we're gonna try to see if it is able to make a transaction still, even in this state. And it does work. So we know making the glass credit card has some merit of actually functioning. So that's pretty good to know. Now on to the next step, making the prototype card and making sure that prototype card still works. And I think something that would look similar to glass is this epoxy that I got. It should dry up clear and hopefully it will resemble glass.
Many months later.
So it looks pretty good. It basically looks like a credit card, but the big question is whether or not it is still functional. So let's go ahead and see.
Remember to scan your PIN code. Use PIN pad to complete transaction. Thank you for shopping at Whole Foods Market.
So yes, this card is still functional, but will it translate over if we made this into a glass credit card? So let's get to calling some glass makers and figure that out. Hey, how's it going? So I was kind of wondering, so I know it's a little bit weird to make a glass credit card. Do you make custom products out of glass? Yeah, we can make a mold of a credit card if it makes it easier. Oh, so you don't think it's possible? Alright. Yeah, I would be willing to be put on hold. Make a thin piece of glass and then put the NFC so, you know, it's still functional as a glass credit card. Do you think that's something we could do? No, I understand. Okay, so you're charging $1,000. Okay, so you can't do it, but you said that maybe your friend could do it? Alright, thank you so much. Okay, so $600. Gotcha. Yeah, thank you so much. Bye. This is apparently more of an expensive project than I first thought, if it's even possible. Some glass makers I called, they said that they're not even willing to take on this project, and some other glass makers, because you have to make a mold of the glass, that it's going to be a little bit more expensive than a custom blowing glass, project. So I'm still gonna call around. A lot of places wanted like $1,800. The cheapest I found it was about $400, and that's not too bad, but for this project, I was expecting it to cost more like $100, maybe even $50, and not that much. But yeah, for now, it's probably gonna be a two-part video. If you all have any contacts with any glass makers in the area around, the Atlanta, Tennessee area, that would be really helpful if you can get me connected with them. But I'll see you all later at part 2.